Live from our studio here in Kokomlemle, Accra, this is your News Prime. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace.
And I am Noella Karaniali. Tonight, suspended Chief Justice suffers massive legal defeat as the Supreme Court refuses her last-ditch legal attempt to stop the ongoing process to remove her.
Also coming up, former Vice President Dr. Bawumia demands EOCO respects the constitutional rights of Chairman Wontumi amid concerns over his arrest and detention.
Meanwhile, Joy News condemns the vicious assault on its journalist Lateef Idrisu by the NPP supporters and drags the party to the police, filing a formal complaint, calling the attack a brazen attack on press freedom that cannot be ignored.
Also, importers and exporters laud the president's announcement of possible central bank intervention to hedge the city from further fall as they call for a more fixed rate to protect their businesses. Now, tonight, Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has suffered a significant legal blow in an attempt to halt the process seeking to remove her from office. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court dismissed her application to stop the inquiry, calling it meritless.
Now, this clears the path for the 5-member special committee to continue investigating the petitions filed against her. Now, legal affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante was on court and reports.
She is the leader of the judiciary, and on the Supreme Court, she is first among equals. Lawyers bowed before her. But today she stood and bowed before a panel of judges as she made a last-ditch legal effort to stop the ongoing constitutional process to remove her from office as Chief Justice. Gertrude Torkornoo wanted the entire process stopped. She didn't get that. The 5-member panel of the Supreme Court delivered a unanimous ruling, striking out a supplementary affidavit filed by suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo in the process. The affidavit, which alleged unfair and degrading treatment by the committee investigating her under Article 146, was ruled inadmissible on the grounds it disclosed details meant to be kept strictly confidential. The court held that the contents violated the constitutional requirement that such proceedings be held in camera. A debate erupted over the inclusion of Justices Poaman and Asiedu Adibu, along with other committee members, as defendants in the suit. Godfred Dame, lead counsel for the suspended Chief Justice, insisted they could not be represented by the Attorney General, suggesting they were acting in personal rather than official capacities. But the bench pushed back. Justice Tanko, for instance, asked bluntly, did Godfred Dame expect the judges to hire lawyers from their own pockets and file affidavits individually? Justice Kulendi even went further, arguing that the judges were performing a state function co-opted into service by constitutional mandate, not by personal choice, and were thus entitled to state representation. As all this legal drama unfolded right at the Supreme Court, my eyes occasionally drifted to the suspended Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo, as she sat composed, her right leg crossed over her left knee, leaning slightly to her right, and at times she engaged quietly with her lawyers and husband. At other moments, she fixed her gaze firmly on the bench. When the unanimous ruling was finally delivered, which struck out her supplementary affidavit in its entirety and also dismissed her injunction application, Justice Gertrude Torkornoo wore a wry look and later left the premises of the court, hand in hand with her husband. Her lawyers maintained the process is deeply flawed, but she will not walk away without a fight.
Not surprising. Because really follows in the theme of what we've been witnessing. But yeah, I think that we move on. There are a lot of battles that we can fight. We think that the process is flawed, no doubt. Heavily flawed, laden with all kinds of constitutional violations. And I'm quite surprised that the Supreme Court will be more or less acceding to the perpetration of such violations against the highest judicial office holder.
Opinion, you have said that this process is deeply flawed. There are those who are calling for the Chief Justice to simply resign and save herself all the trouble from this. As a former Attorney General, if I were to ask your opinion as a lawyer for Madam Torkornoo, what would you say to that?
Due process, rule of law, constitutionalism must prevail in Ghana. That is what we seek. It did not, on account of people putting pressure on the CJ to resign or do whatever, that will take any decision. The most important thing is that there must be an upholding of the rule of law in Ghana. And we will continue to assert our rights. The proper thing must be done. As far as I'm saying, the proper thing must be done.
Having suffered this legal setback at the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo is expected to continue submitting herself to the 5-member committee investigating the petitions seeking to remove her from office as Chief Justice. The Chief Justice continued to contend that the process is deeply flawed, deeply unconstitutional, and must not be allowed to stand. But she has not found favor in her own colleagues at the Supreme Court, who has made the case that the spirited argument made on her behalf in the Supreme Court was simply meritless and does not deserve any favor from the highest court of the land. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Kweku Asante, Supreme Court, Accra.
Now, Majority Leader Mouhamma Ayariga is defending the ongoing removal process against Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, insisting that every step taken so far has followed the law. Now, the Boko Central MP says the process has been transparent, constitutional and free of irregularities. Responding to the Chief Justice's request for a public hearing, Mr. Ayariga warned that such a move would directly contradict the Constitution's in-camera provisions for such proceedings.
We should be mindful the extent to which we go interfering in the work of other branches of government. I am a lawyer by training. I pay attention to the process. So far, I have not heard anybody specifically say that this part of the process is not provided for in the Constitution. I have not seen anyone. I have listened to all the discussions. Not one single, indication that this step in the process. People are throwing innuendos. People are speculating. Oh, why is it that these lawyers who are known to be lawyers who have ever represented X, Y, Z are the ones who are also representing the people that somebody decides to choose as lawyers? It's not my business. Are you getting the situation? My business is whether or not the process is respected. Are you getting the situation? Now, somebody says, I want the hearing to be held in public. I want a transparent process. Did the Constitution say a transparent process? Did the Constitution say a process in camera? If the Constitution said a process in camera, when you are being vetted in this parliament and you are being appointed as the Chief Justice, why didn't you say that I am accepting the job subject to me not accepting the procedure for removing me? If you had told us at that time, would we have appointed you as Chief Justice? It comes as a package. The Constitution creates the office of Chief Justice, and the same Constitution creates the procedure by which the Chief Justice should be removed.
Now, let's take you away from that and take you to the Wontumi case, because tonight the former Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, is demanding that the Economic and Organized Crime Office respects the constitutional rights of Bernard Enchibo-Siakon, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. In a strongly worded statement, Dr. Bawumia expressed deep concern over Wontumi's continued detention without clear charges and called on state agencies to act strictly within the bounds of the law. Let's share with you details of this statement, and you have that on your screen. It says, I'm deeply concerned about the arrest and continued detention of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, the NPP, Mr. Bernard Enchibo-Siakon Wontumi, particularly as the charges remain vague and his whereabouts remain unknown. He continues, quote, in a democratic environment as ours, no individual is above the law. Equally, no Ghanaian, regardless of political affiliation or status, should ever be denied their constitutional rights. Justice and due process are not optional. They are the foundation of our democracy. He continues, I have been in constant touch with Mr. Wontumi's legal team since this morning to ensure that his rights are protected and that due process is followed. I commend them for their professionalism and vigilance. It continues, quote, I also urge the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, and all relevant state institutions to act strictly within the bounds of the law and to respect the rights of Mr. Wontumi as guaranteed by our Constitution. Any deviation from these principles risks undermining public trust in our justice system and weakening the democratic values we have worked hard to build. So that's the statement there coming from the former Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
Now let's go to Parliament, because Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo has also condemned the style of Chairman Wontumi's arrest and the aggressive tactics used by the investigative agencies. And he was speaking to us.
I'm not in support of what may be happening, but the sudden change in attitude of the NPP that these things are strange, they are unconstitutional, they are unlawful, they are illegal. The current serving Attorney General, do you know what happened to him?
What happened to him?
His home was stormed with men wielding guns as if they were going to Iraqi war. But they hailed the process. It's the processes that they refer to as Rambo style. Oh, we've gone beyond Rambo. There are more action movies than Rambo. So stop using Rambo. Rambo is a cake. If you really want to describe the Gestapo style of arrest. But you loved it. You deployed it. Sam George was slapped, physically, molested physically on video. We all saw it. For standing up to hooded security men that he couldn't identify. Inquiries were made. The attack on him was whitewashed. Our own colleagues in Parliament didn't see anything wrong with it. If by all means we have problems with Wontumi, we should invite him. And if he won't come, I've been a practitioner, so me understand the court processes.
Now, Chairman Wontumi was rushed to the hospital late last night after his health deteriorated following hours of intense interrogation by EOCO. His lawyer, Andy Apiakubi, confirmed at the time that he required urgent medical attention.
The client has been taken to hospital for medical treatment. We have given our statement. They preferred some allegations against him. He responded to them. We haven't finished with interrogation, so we will come back to continue, hopefully tomorrow if his condition improves. Otherwise, he will stay there until that the doctors discharge him, and then he will come back to continue the interrogation. Nevertheless, we have also received this afternoon a writ of summons from Exim Bank, and we are going to respond to the pleadings tomorrow. And I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to mount a defense of the writ. When we are in court, we will indicate that to the court that this we consider a civil matter, for which reason Exim Bank has issued a writ of summons to us, which we are also responding.
Now, MPP supporters have tonight gathered at the EOCO office in solidarity with Chairman Wontumi, continuing their protest from yesterday. James Aveji is on the ground for us and joins us live with update on happenings at the EOCO office. James, what can you report?
Brace, as you said, a handful of the supporters are here. I will describe them to be in their dozens. The number here this evening is not what we saw yesterday. About between 50 to 100 of them are gathered in the median of the Athamels High Street here in front of the EOCO building, with a number of security officers as well. I count at least 10 to 12 security personnel, fully armed police officers already here. Just when we got here, there were about 2 police pickups here. Just when we got here, another pickup came with about 5 police officers, adding up to the number. As we speak, there are about 10, 12 of the police officers here, with 3 police pickups also stationed in front of the EOCO headquarters here in Accra. I also see at the tail end there a police water cannon also parked on the edge of the road there. in case of any eventuality as part of the police's security beef up here in front of the EOCO building. There are a number of the party supporters here. Just when we got here, I've been trying to find out from them why they are still here. Because the information we gathered from afternoon all through this evening is that Chairman Wontumi has been taken to the hospital. Last night, we're told that he was sent to the hospital. This afternoon, we had a confirmation this evening, actually, from the youth organizer that he is receiving treatment at the 37 military hospital. That's the information we got. But getting to the grounds now, I had picked that you have there in your shot. I want to believe Godfrey Adami, the former Attorney General, he has just arrived here and making his way to the EOCO premises. He just alighted from his car. His car has been parked here for a while before we just went on air. He arrived here about some 5-7 minutes ago, and he's making his way into the EOCO premises. Like I was telling you, the information we're getting is that Chairman Wontumi has been brought back to the EOCO premises, which would mean that he's been discharged from the hospital. And so he's back to the EOCO premises for the interrogation to continue. You have another police pickup just arriving with police officers adding up to the numbers. I saw at least 5 police officers alighting from that new arrival of a police pickup, adding up to the number. And so we should be having between 15 to 17 police officers manning the entrance of the police of the EOCO premises. You see the police barricades lined up in front of the place. No vehicle is allowed entry or exit of the premises. And so we also picked up that one of the counsels to the Chairman Wontumi, Andy Apiakube, is currently in the premises with Chairman Wontumi as part of the interrogations. And Godfrey Adami, the former Attorney General, who is also a member of the many councils to Chairman Wontumi, just made his way in there as part to add up to the team of councils who will be part of the interrogation. And so it is still unclear whether Chairman Wontumi would be released by the EOCO this evening. It's been over 24 hours now since he has been invited, I would say, or if you want, invited by the Economic and Organized Crime Office with regards to interrogations into some transactions, bank transactions, we've been told, which the EOCO is looking into. This case is separate from the Galamsey issues that the CID is also probing, and so this is a different matter altogether. And so as we speak, a number of the party supporters are here still in solidarity with the Chairman Wontumi. They are waiting for his release. It is unclear how long they will still be staying here, but 2 of his counsel, we can confirm, Godfrey Adami as well as Andy Apiakube, are currently in there with him as the interrogation is ongoing. The police security is also beefed up here as we speak. We will be monitoring the situation to know whether he would be released or not. Brace and Noella.
All right, James, thank you very much. And count on us. We will take you back there when an update comes up there. And that's the EOCO office.
Meanwhile, Joy News has tonight condemned the vicious assault on its journalist Lateef Idris by NPP supporters and has filed a formal complaint with police calling the attack a brazen one on press freedom that cannot be ignored. Now, he was covering the arrest of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Intwi-Bosiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. Some supporters of the party who had massed up at the scene verbally and physically assaulted the journalist. Mensah is a senior editor here at Joy News.
Latif is doing well.
Okay.
This morning he's seen he's been at the hospital for medical examination, but he's in good spirits and he's doing fine. So we filed the police report, on the back of which he's done the medical examination. And obviously this must be condemned in on certain terms. There's no place for assaulting journalists in the line of work. It's just like assaulting a doctor who's doing his work, or assaulting an MP who is simply doing his work on the floor of Parliament. There's no place for that in a democracy like ours, and that is why we've taken the step. Yes, the MPPD have apologized, we acknowledge that, but if you assault somebody, it's a criminal offense, and so the police must look into that and bring the individuals who assaulted him to justice. And thankfully this was captured on live television, and so the police should have enough evidence to pursue this matter, and that is why we have placed it where it's supposed to be placed, with the police to investigate and bring people to justice. But Latif is doing well, and we're happy with that.
Well, the MPP has since apologized. Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the MPP.
Talk to me. Let me apologize to you. We will not attack you. We are not here to have any quarrel with anybody in the media. Rather, we are working together. You have been here all afternoon and we have been working together. And you have seen that we have conducted ourselves very, very well here. I'm sure that one you can say. It is rather the security people who have come to make this place this murky as it is now. So first of all, let me apologize to you as the National Youth Organizer that any assault on you is regrettable. It is not any intentional act to attack you. So please, my brother, let's continue to work together. Those who are misbehaving are rather those in authority. They are those showing the misbehavior, and they have misbehaved towards you this afternoon. And this evening, you have seen how they have handled citizens of this country. So I beg you, please, take the apology from me, and let's move from where we are, that we have been working together.
All right, and of course, we've still issued a communicator this story, and so we're going to go on our smart screen and share with you what it says. It says, Joy News strongly condemns the attack on our reporter Latif Idrissa during coverage of the arrest of the NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Bawumia, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. It continues to say that Latif was delivering a live report from the premises of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, when he was assaulted by individuals believed to be supporters of Mr. Bawumia, who had gathered to show solidarity.
This statement again says he was struck on the head by some of the attackers, with others reportedly using a stone and a rubber band as weapons. This assault on a journalist in the line of duty is unacceptable and must be condemned in the strongest possible terms. Journalists serve the public interest by reporting events as they unfold. Any attempt to obstruct or intimidate them is not only an attack on press freedom, but also a threat to democracy itself.
Well, it doesn't end there. It says the matter has been reported to the police, and we call for a swift investigation and the prosecution of those responsible. We acknowledge the apology rendered by the New Patriotic Party NPP and expect the party to fully cooperate with the police in bringing the perpetrators to justice.
Well, away from that, a member of Parliament for Assin South and ranking member on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defence and Interior in Team Fojo has expressed concerns about how the raid on his residence linked to allegations of drug trafficking and money laundering has affected his family. Speaking on Prime Morning Show on Joy Prime, he highlighted the distress and questions the incident has caused within his family.
Expected they would, dish out some of these monies to people to go on social media to do some hatchet job, calling me all kinds of names. But I wasn't the least perturbed because I knew very well and had prepared that if you want to do the right thing, my daughter, very young daughter, my second one, asked me when they stormed the house, Daddy, what have you done? I said, nothing. But when you want to say the truth, be ready that some of these things will happen. So just be prepared that if you do the right thing, they will do all sort of things. My wife...
Your wife?
My wife was very disturbed that, why are they calling all these names?
Now, a new bill in Parliament aims to revolutionize Ghana's legal education system by ending the Ghana School of Law's monopoly on professional legal training. And the proposed reform seeks to create a more open, competitive and accountable system, marking a significant transformation in the country's legal education landscape. More are in the following report.
Government is set to introduce sweeping reforms to overhaul the country's legal education system. The proposed legal education bill aims to end the Ghana School of Law's exclusive control over professional training, allowing accredited law faculties to offer professional training.
By the time we finish passing these bills, the legal architecture of Ghana would have received a significant overhaul.
The bill will empower law faculties across the country to provide professional training, not just LLB degrees. Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo revealed that the government will introduce the bill under a certificate of urgency, calling the reform a long overdue correction to the corrupted system.
Let every faculty accredited to run the academic programs, the LLB programs, let them be accredited or licensed, so to speak, to train their own lawyers. We are even minded to move this under certificate of urgency. It is one of our major political promises.
The proposed reforms have garnered bipartisan support. Deputy Minority Chief Whip Habib Idrisu emphasized the need for change to widen access to legal education.
Listening to the agenda that they presented to the business committee, and then listening to the statement of the majority leader, you come to the conclusion that this government is off balance.
Former director of the Ghana School of Law, Kweku Ansah Asari, described the initiative as progressive.
It's not just a breaking of monopoly, but I mean, it's progressive to have only one law school. In 2008, while I was on leave, an attempt was made to establish a second law school in Kumasi, and then somehow the General Legal Council, differently constituted, changed its mind and made it a satellite campus of Makola. I mean, we will not grow.
The president of the National Association of Law Students, Hassan Asari, applauded the move but stressed the importance of maintaining high standards in legal education.
Accreditation must be strict. Now, if you are the one accrediting those faculties and you put in systems to ensure they need to live to some standard,
right,
and you ensure that that happens, you don't have reason to say that it will be diluted. I don't believe in that system.
As Parliament considers the bill, stakeholders agree.
You're still live on Joy News. It's Prime News. And of course, we're taking a quick breather. We're back with more. You're welcome back. This is Joy News Prime with myself, Noella, and Kojo Brace.
Now, to other stories, dead fishes were spotted beside demolished structures at the Lashibi Sakumono Ramsar site after a task force led by Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu cleared buildings constructed in waterways. Officials attributed the fish deaths to encroachment by private developers, which disrupted their habitat. Kenneth Jesse captured the growing ecological cost of human encroachment.
Dead fishes were seen beside structures at the Lashibi Sakumono Ramsar site after several buildings built directly in waterways were demolished by the task force led by the Greater Accra Regional Minister. The Minister, Linda Oklu, expressed shock upon witnessing firsthand the ecological damage caused as a result of people's greed and vowed to ensure the property owners whose structures have been destroyed do not erect new buildings in the wetlands.
It's not that we are wicked, my dear, but we want to. These are reserve sites, like we said, for species. And so God, in his own wisdom, left this place for us, and so that it can accommodate this easy flow of water when it rains. So only thing we can tell our stakeholders, everybody, the chiefs involved, everybody, that we are only pleading for them to reserve the site for us. They should reserve the site, and so that the water can have its natural flow.
The Deputy NADMO Director in charge of operations at Tema West, Loretta Frimpong, also raised alarm over the potential for catastrophic flooding in the area. She warned that the blocking of natural waterways could lead to devastating floods, risking lives and property whenever heavy rains occur.
This is so sad. This is very, very sad as a nation. And until we take steps to correct this anomaly, that not only the lives of these fishes, but people who are going to live here, their lives are also at risk. This is very serious. It's so disheartening. Having come close to this, I've realized that, in fact, NADMO as an organization, we need permits to demolish buildings before they are raised, to demolish right from the onset. We shouldn't even allow people to come and live in before we start doing this. They are putting their lives in danger. They are putting people's lives in danger because they've built on waterways, the water cannot flow. Therefore, other areas, including Community 5 and other places, are also suffering. This is bad. This is reckless. I mean, this is insensitive.
Tema West Municipal Chief Executive Lagwik Totime shared his disappointment over the situation, stressing the need for stricter enforcement to protect the Ramsar site from further destruction.
I think we are all surprised at the reality we have seen here. Earlier on, like I said, someone was asking, won't we have mercy on the demolished buildings? It's not about having mercy. It's about doing the right thing. We've seen human nature that has changed the whole ecological nature of the land. This is supposed to be a reserve. This is a place for water and the fishes. We all saw the dead fishes here. It's not supposed to be like that.
Authorities are now assessing the full extent of the damage while considering long-term measures to restore the affected areas and prevent repeated violations.
Now, the Importers and Exporters Association has lauded President John Dramani Mahama's announcement of possible central bank intervention to hedge the cedi from further fall as they call for a more fixed rate to protect their businesses. Now, speaking during a multi-sectoral meeting on the 24-hour economy, John Mahama said, although there is no deliberate attempt to force down the value of the dollar, the Bank of Ghana may intervene to protect the businesses of exporters and Ghana's foreign direct gains from export.
The cedi recently has appreciated in value, and it is the result of close coordination between the fiscal and monetary, between the central bank and the Ministry of Finance. And it is based on the forex auction and demand and supply. What happens is the Bank of Ghana does the forex auction, finds out how much cedis are in the system that need forex for to pay various bills and others. And those who want the forex bid on the auction, and the bank strikes the average and takes the cedis and makes the dollars available. And so it's not like somebody is deliberately forcing the dollar down. It is the result of the bids that is finding what the true value of the cedi is. And I believe that it will arrest where the true value is based on the issues of demand and supply. And so I don't envisage that some people say it will come to one cedi, $1. No, that's extreme. We'll virtually collapse our export sector if that happened. But I think that the governor of the bank has an eye on it. And if it goes below a certain floor, I'm sure that the Bank of Ghana will make an intervention to make sure that it remains within a certain band that gives the true value of the cedi against the other foreign currencies. So don't panic. And if you haven't changed your dollars already, I don't know how much further lower it will go, but the governor has an eye on it, and we'll see how things go.
Now, here is the position of Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobit.
Well, if you ask an exporter will tell you that, even if the city it runs to say 15 cedis to $1, they will be happy because they will bring small dollar and make huge cedis into their account. But the point is, yes, you may bring small dollar and make huge cedis, but your inflation is catching up with your currency. And so your currency will not be strong, will not be stable. And so I think that the best thing that we are seeing now, 10.8, is not bad. It's not out of place. I think that if government wants to lock it now, and that's why we are saying that at least at the port we are looking for a fixed rate. So government can decide to say, okay, this 10.8, we are going to lock it there for the next 4 or for the next 3 months, subject to review. And of course, 10.2 at the bank. 10.2. I'm talking about 10.8 is at the port. That the rate customs are using calculation duty. But in interbank is 10.2. So government will want to keep it now 10.2 million for the next 1 month, for the next 2 months, to see what will happen to the economy. I think it's not bad idea at all.
For you, the exporters and both exporters and importers, whatever rate it would be, what you want is stability of it over a long period of time.
Absolutely.
Now let's bring in Courage Bote, who is a currency analyst at GCB PLC and has joined us on the line now. Grateful to you for joining. Now, I thought we were all calling for the fall of the dollar. The idea about a possible hedging of the cedi from further fall, is it real? And what rate is an ideal rate below which the cedi must not fall?
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners. I think the president was using the word hedge loosely. Okay. What is happening is volatility, and volatility either side, be it appreciation or depreciation, is not very desirable. Yes, we agree that cedi was undervalued and there must be some correction. And the fundamental point of what he's saying is this: you will lose your export competitiveness if your cedi becomes extra strong. China is not looking to have a stronger yuan. In fact, they are they are called currency manipulators because they deliberately leave their currency weak so their export become attractive. And this is how it works. Let's assume 10 cedi to $1. If someone is buying something worth 1,000 cedis in Ghana, they need just about $100 to do so. Now, if the cedi appreciates to 1 cedi to $1, that person would need $1,000 to buy the same thing. So for them, it becomes expensive. If they have an alternative to buy the same good from elsewhere, and it's not that expensive, they will divert to that source. It's not good for your local industries that are export-oriented. It's not good for domestic job creation. And it's not good for business in general, for those who are in the export sector. So for those reasons, if we are seeking to promote export, you are trying to grow and then feed the external market from your local market and all that, it's not in your interest for the currency to be overly strong. And vice versa for us consumers and people who depend on imported goods and all that. If it's extremely weak also, it imposes cost of living crisis on that. So a fine balance is ideal. That fine balance is theoretical. You call it fair value, and then the cedi will journey its way to a fair value when demand and supply interplay and get to a balance. That rate, what the fair value is, the Bank of Ghana may never tell you. In fact, they will never tell you that. In fact, not that they know. Ministry of Finance will never tell you that, not that they know, because it's the market interplaying and determining the rate. They might have a rate they have penciled down, they are working towards, but they cannot communicate that to the market. But
you don't know about that rate, the floor, beyond which the cedi must not fall.
No, at best, it's my estimation, and I think a fair value for the cedi, judging from where the problem started from, where we were at, I think 6 cedis when we really started the problems, and it went to 8 to 10 and on and on. If you look at the trajectory between then and now, you'll do your analysis using whatever models we are using. I see a fair value around 10 cedis. And that is where I think we are headed. But whether it's to stay there or not depends on the policy anchors that are holding the currency currently. If we sustain that, they could stay there. Yeah.
I'm grateful, Courage Bote, for joining us with your thoughts there. Now, away from that, a third-generation commercial users of charcoal at one of Accra's popular eateries has shared a heartwarming story of their willingness to abandon charcoal and fully migrate to liquefied petroleum gas. This is coming at a time where there are rising concerns over health and environmental concerns over the continued use of charcoal and firewood for cooking. For these two sisters, a government commitment to making LPG accessible is all they need to transition, regardless of the cost. James Aveji has the rest of the story.
The German Agency for International Cooperation, GIZ, in 2023 revealed in a research that firewood and charcoal contribute at least 39% of source of energy for cooking in Ghana. This means about 100,000 football fields of trees are cleared every year for firewood and charcoal. To find out more, I visit a chopper here in Accra to hear their story. I meet Nanama and her sister Sandra, a third-generation owners of the popular heavy-do chopper.
49 years ago, we started with firewood. That's what we started with. And then we moved from firewood to charcoal. And the reason was firewood produces a lot of heat and then a lot of smoke. So we moved to charcoal. So when we moved to charcoal and then technology also came in and technology was growing, we moved from charcoal to gas.
So why did they switch back to charcoal after finding comfort in LPG?
I think 10 years back we had some gas shortage in Ghana. So we bought 2 bags of charcoal and we used it to cook. So after cooking we realized that the cost of using the charcoal was a bit okay than the gas. So that was when we introduced the use of the gas and the charcoal at the same time. Yes. We have 12.5 kg, which cost us 260 cedis. And with this, it takes us 2 days. So every 2 days, we need to fill it and use.
But you use it for what?
For just warming the food. We don't use it to cook, to just keep the soup warm. And with this, it costs 500 and something, so I'm not that sure. And it takes us for a week just to warm the food. But if we are to use this to cook the pot of cassava, you can do 3 to 4 on an average, depending on how soft or how hard the cassava is.
It has emerged, however, that this is not only posing threats to the environment, but to the human health as well. Speaking at a National Clean Cooking Policy Framework workshop in Accra in March 2025, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority in charge of technical, Dr. Sheila Addo, revealed that the charcoal and firewood usage kills at least 17,000 Ghanaians every year.
The IEA estimates that this figure at 3.7 million annually, with women and children most at risk, people who are usually exposed to health challenges. In Ghana, it is projected that unclean cooking methods claim about 17,000 lives annually, including 2,000 children.
For now, Nanama, on behalf of her sister, has pledged willingness to go back to operate fully on LPG regardless the cost, but on condition that government will revamp the cylinder recirculation model to make access more convenient.
At least you are ready to sacrifice the use of the charcoal and go for the gas if it will give you the full convenience.
Oh, yes, if government should listen to our cry, why not? We would stop the use of charcoal due to the other health hazards it has on us. We'll stop using it and then we'll fall on the gas to produce our food.
The ball is now in government court to take a decisive policy decision to win the hearts of Ghanaians to embrace LPG, to protect the environment against climate change. James Savage's report for Joy News.